Here beginneth the man of law his tale. In Surrey whilom dwelt a company 135 of chapmen riche, and third osada and true, that wide ware senten her spicery, clothes of gold, and satins riche of hue, 40, her chaffer was so thrifty and so new, that every wight hath dainty to chaffer 140 with ham, and eke to sell in hem here ware. Now fell it, that the maisters of that sort han shop en hem to Rome for to Wendy, were it for chapmanhood or for disport, nan other message wolde they teeter send, 145 but come en hemself to Rome, this is the endy, and in switch place, as thought hem advantage for her entente, they take her herbergage. 50. Soyernd han thys marchants in that tune a certain time, as fell to hear pleasance. 150 and so biful, that th'excellent renown of th'emperor's daughter, Dame Custance, reported was, with every circumstance, unto thy Surrian marchants in switch wise, fro day to day, as I shall yet devise. 150, e. And, rest but. 153, e. Switch a wise, the rest omit a. 155 This was the commune voice of every man, our Emperor of Rome, God him see, a daughter hath that, sin the world bygan. 60, to reckny as wel here goodness as bodie, nus never switch another as is she. 135, t 4580 to 4616. 160 I pray to God in honor here sustain, and wolde she were of all Europe the queen. In here is hey boti, with it pride, the, with it green heat or folly, to alle here works for to is here jide. 165 Humbless hath slain in here all tyranny. She is mirar of alle courteous I, here heard is very chamber of holiness. 70, here hand, minister of freedom for all mess. And all this voice was soft, as God is true. 170 But now to purpose let us turn again, thys marchants han doen fraud here ships new, and, when they han this blissful maiden sane, whom to Surrey bin they went full fain, and doen her neds as they han on yer. 175 And liven and wheel, I can say no more. Now fell it, that thys marchants stowed in grace of him, that was the Sodan of Surrey. 80, for one they came from any strange place, he wolded, of his benign courteous eye. 180 Make hem good share, and bisily espy tidings of sundry regs, for to lear the wonders that they might see nor hear. Amongst other things, specially thys marchants han am told of Dame Custance. 185 So gret noblesse in earnest, seriously, that this Sodan hath caught so gret pleasance to han here figure in his remembrance. 90 That all his lust and all his bicy cure was for to love here whl his life may dure. 190 Paraventure in thilk large book which that men cleep the heaven, why writin was with stairs, one that he his bertha took, that he for love shoulda han his death, Alice. For in the stairs, clearer than his glass. 195 Is writin, God what, whoso could it read, the death of every man, withouten dread. 136, t 4617 to 4651. In stairs, many a winter therbyforn. 100, was writin the death of Hector, Achilles, of Pompey, Iulius, they were born. 200 The Asar wife of Thebes, and of Hercules, of Samson, Turnus, and of Socrates the death. But menis wits been so dull, that no wight can read it at full. This Sodan for his privy council sente, 205 And, shortly of this matter for to pace, he hath to hem declared his entente, and said hem certain, but he might have grace. 110 To han Custance within a lightel space, he in as but deed, and charged him, in high, 210 to Chopin for his life some remedy. Diverse men diverse things saiden, they argumenten, casten up and down, many a subtle resound forth they leiden, they speaken of magic and abusion. 215 But finally, as in conclusion, they cannot seen in that non-advantage, nay in none other way, save marriage. 212 HLCP Arguments. 120 Then saw they therein switch difficulty by way of resound, for to speak all plain. 220 By cause that there was switch diversity between here Bodo laws, that they sayin, they troth that no Christian prince wolde fain wedden his child under our laws sweet that us were taught by Mahan our prophet. 220 CM that. 225 And he answered, rather than I lace Custance, I will be christened Doodalese, I am o to ben hires, I may non other cheese. 130 I pray you hold your arguments in peace, saveth my life, and beeth not wretch at least 230 to Geaton here that hath my life and cure, for in this way I may not lunge endure. 137, tu 4652 to 4686. What ne death greater dilatation? I say, by traites and ambassadry, and by the Pope's mediation, 235 and the Church, and the chivalry, that, in destruction of mometry, and in encraze of Christ's law dear, 140, they ben accord, so as ye shall hear. How that the Sodan and his baronage 240 and Allah his legage shoulda why christened be, and he shall han custance and mariage, and certi and gold, I knit what quantity, and heard a found in sufficient certi, the same accord was sworn on aether side, 245 now, fair custance, Almighty God thee jide. Now wolde some men whiten, as I guess, that I shoulda tell len the purveyance, 150, that th' emperor, of his greta noblesse, hath shopen for his daughter Dame Custance. 250 wel may men know that so gret ordinance may no man tell len in a litel clause as was arrayed for so hay a cause. 255, enough, hncphl now, cm lane now. Bishops ben shopen with here for de Wendy, lords, ladies, knights of renown, 255 and other folk why now, this is the Indy, and notified is third out the tune that every white, with gret devotion, 160, shoulda pre en Christ that he this mariage receive and gree, and speed this voyage. 260 the day is comin' of here departinga, I say, the woeful day fatal is come, that there may be no langer tarriange, but forthward they hem dressen, alet and some, custance, that was with sore way overcome, 265 full pale arist, and dresseth here to Wendy, for wel she seeth there is none other Indy. 138, t 4687 to 4721. Allah's. What wonder is it though she wept, 170, that shall be sent to strange nation fro friends, that so tenderly here kept, 270 and to be bounden under subjection of wound, she knoweth not his condition. Housebonds ben alle god, and han benyer, that no one wives, I dar say yow no more. Fader, she said, thy wretched child Custance, 275 thy young daughter, fostered up so soft, and ye, my motor, my sovereign pleasance over allething, outtaken Christ on loft, 180, Custance, your child, here recommendeth oft unto your grace, for I shall to Surrey, 280 shall I never see yow more with ye. Allah's. Unto the barber nation I most anon, sin that it is your will, but Christ, that starved for our redemption, so yet me grace, his hests to fulfill, 285 I, wretch woman, no furs though I spill. Women are born to thraldom and penance, and to ben under man's governance. 282, goon, rest anon. 283, suation, rest redemption. 190, I trow, at Troy, one Pyrrhus brak the wall Aurelian brand, at Thebes the city, 290 nat Rome, for the harm third Hannibal that Romains hath vanquished times thre, nus heard switch tendre weeping for pity as in the chamber was for here departinga, but forth she moot, where so she weep or singe. 289, cm, at, rest om, or means air, and brand is intransitive. 290, ehn, cm anat, for nat, hl nat. 295 O first moving cruel firmament, with thy diurnal sway that crowdest I and hurlest al from est till occident, 200, that naturally wolde hold another way, thy crowding set the heaven in switch array 300 at the beginning of this fear's voyage, that cruel Mars hath slain this mariage. 139, t 4722 to 4756. Infortunate ascendant tortuous, of which the Lord is helpless fall, Allah's. Out of his angle into the darkest house. 305 O Mars, O Adazir, as in this case. O feeble moan, unhappy bin thy pa. Thou knittest thee there thou art nat received, 210, there thou were wheel, fro thens our toe waved. 306, ehn, cp feeble. Imprudent Emperor of Rome, Allah's. 310 was there no feelas offering al thy tune? Is no time bet than other in switch cass? Of voyages there noon election, namely to folk of hay condition, nat one arotas of a bertha wino? 315 Allah's. We been to lewd or to slough. To ship is brought this woeful fare made solemnly, with every circumstance. 220, Now yes a Christ be with yow Allah, she said, there nis na more but farewell. Fair Custance. 320 She paineth here to make good countenance, and forth I lead her sail in this manere, and turn I wool again to my mateer. 316, Come, rest brought. The motor of the Soudan, welly of vices, Espede hath here sown as plain entente. 325 How he will lead his old sacrifices, and write an anchi for here concile sente, and they ben come, to know what she meant. 230 And when assembled was this folk in fear, she set her down, and said as ye shall hear. 330 Lords, quot she, ye know in Evershan, how that my son in point is for delete the holy laws of our Alcoran, Yevon by God's message Machamet. But owen about a Greta God I heat. 335 The life shall rather out of my body sturt than Machamet's law out of myn hurt. 330 She said, rest quot she. 333 CPPT Lane Masager, HL Messenger, C note. 140 T 4757 to 4791. What should us tiden of this new law? 240 But thraldom to our bodies and penance? And afterward in hella to be draw 340 for we rennied mahan our creance? But, lords, will ye make an assurance, as I shall sayn, assenting to my lore, and I shall make us soft for evermore? They sworen and assenten, every man, 345 to live with here and die, and by here stand, and he rich, in the best wise he can, to strengthen here shall allay his friends fond. 250 And she hath this emprise why take on hand, which she shall herein that I shall devise. 350 And to hem unless she spak right in this wise. We shall first feign us Christendom to take, cold water shall not grieve us but a light, and I shall switch a fest and revel make, that, as I trow, I shall the Soudan quite. 355 For though his wif be christened never so white, she shall have need to wish she o either read, thought she a fontful water with here lead. 260 O Soudness, road of iniquity, virago, thou semiram this account. 360 O serpent under femininity, like to the serpent depe and hella bound. O feigned woman, all that may confound virtue and innocence. Third thy malice is bred in thee, as nest of every vice. 365 O Satan, envious sin felt day that thou were chased from our heritage. Wel knowest o to woman the old way. 270 Thou madest Eve a bringus in servage. Thou wilt fordoon this Christian marriage. 370 Thyn instrument so, waylaw the while. Makest o of woman, one thou wilt beguile. 141 T 4792 to 4824. This Soudness, whom I thus blame and weary, leet pridely here concile goon here way. What should I in this tale langer tarry? 375 She writeth to the Soudan on a day, and said him, that she would a renai here lay, and Christendom of Priestus hands fange. 280 Repenting here she heathen was so lunge. By setching him to doon here that honor. 380 That she most han the Christ in mendefest, to pleasant hem I will do my labor. The Soudan seeth, I will don at your hest, and kneeling thanked here of that request. So glad he was, he nist what to saith. 385 She kissed her son, and whom she goeth here way. 385 whom, hncm hum. Explicit prima pars. Sequitur pars secunda. Arrived ben this Christian folk to land, in Surrey, with a great solemn rout. 290 And hastily this Soudan sent his sond, first to his motor, and the regnia but. 390 And said, his wif was comin, out of Dut, and prayed here for to write again the queen, the honor of his regni to sustain. Gred was the prise, and Riche was the ray of Syrians and Romains met wife here. 395 The motor of the Soudan, Riche and Gay, receiveth here with also glad a share as any motor might her daughter dear. 300 And to the next city their byside as soft solemnly they ride. 400 Not Troi the triumphy of Iulius, of which that Lucan mocketh switch a bost, was royaler, any more curious than was th' assembly of this blissful host. But this scorpion, this wicked ghost, 142, T 4825 to 4859. For 05 the soudness, for I'll here flateringe, cast under this full mortally to stinge. For 02, or, rest in curious. The Sodan cometh himself soon after this, 310, so royally, that wonder is to tell, and welcometh here with io in bliss. For 10 and thus in mehr than an io I lead hem dwell. The fruit of this mater is that I tell. One time cam, men thought it for the best that rebels stint, and men goonda here rest. For 11, cm, cp matière, hn, pt matière. 413, the rest that. The time cam, this old soudness 415 ordained hath this festive which I tolda, and to the fest Christian folk hem dress in general, boda young and old. 320, here may men fest in royalty byhold, and dainties imo than I can yow devise, for 20 but al to dear they bought it they rise. 418, byhold. Oh so moi. That ever art success are to worldly bliss, sprained with bitterness, then of the ioe of our worldly labor, what occupieth the foon of our gladness. For 25 herc this concile for thy psycherness, up on thy glade day haven thy min the unwar way or harm that cometh behind. For 23, so cm, rest the endy. 330, for shortly for to tell len at o word, the Sodan and the Christen Evercone 430 ben el to hew and stiked at the board, but it were only Dane Custen sol one. This old soudness, cursed crone, hath with her friends doen this cursed deedy, for she herself wolde al the contrary lead. For 28, soothly, rest shortly. For 32, pthl this cursed, rest omit this. For 35 now there was Surian noon that was converted that of the concile of the Sodan woot, that nasl to hew or he esterted. 340, and Custins han they taken on, foothoot, and in a shipel sterilis, Godwoot, 143, T 4860 to 4889. For 40 they han here set, and bid here learn sail out of Surai againward to a tale. For 35, omits thir. For 40 HNCM bid, CPPT bidden, lane beaten, biddeth, HL bad. Assertian tresser that she teeter latta, and, sooth to sayin, the tale gret plenty they han here yevon, and clothes each she had, 445 and forth she saileth in the salt sea. O my Custins, full of benignity, O emperor's young daughter dear, 350, he that is lord of fortune be thy steer. For 42, with higher, rest teeter. She blesseth here, and with full Patu's voice 450 unto the croys of Christ thus said she, O clear, O wealthful otter, holy croys, read of the lamb's blood full of Pati, that wesh the world fro the old iniquity, me fro the fiend, and fro his claws keep, for 55 that day that I shall drenchen in the depe. For 51, woeful, rest willful, willful. For 53, weshi, cm wesh, pt wesh. Victorious tree, protection of true, that only worthy were for to bear, 360, the King of Heaven with his wounds knew, the white lamb, that hurt was with the spear, for 60 flemmer of fiends out of him and here on which thy limes faithfully extenden, me keep, and yif me mike my life to menden. For 62, cm'd lane kep, hn, pthl keep, cp keep, help. Yersindays fleet this creature thurg out the sea of Greece under the straight 465 of Marek, as it was here Aventia, on many a sorry meal now may she bait, after her death full often may she wait, 370, ere that the wild vavs will lay here drive unto the place, the she shall arrive. For 63, fleeteth, but hn, cppt fleet. For 69, read place, hl alone inserts as after there. 144, T 4890 to 4924. For 70 men might nasken why she was not slain? Eke at the fest who might her body save? And I answer it to that demand again, who saved Daniel in the horrible cave, their every wight save he, maester and knave, for 75 was with the Leon Frieder he astert? No wight but God, that he bar in his hurt. 473, H.L. Thorable. God least to shew his wonderful miracle, 380, in here, for we should seen his mighty works, Christ, which that is to every harm triacle, for 80 by certy and meanies oft, as known clerks, doth think for certy and endy that full dirk is to man's wit, that for our ignorance ne can not know his prudent purveyance. Now, sis she was not at the fest Weislaw, for 85 who kept here fro the drenching in the sea? Who kept Ionas in the fish's maw till he was spouted up at Nineveh? 390, wel may men know it was no wight but he that kept peppily break fro here drenching, for 90 with dry feet thurg out the sea passinga. 489, Pt lane om here. Who bade the four spirits of tempest, that power haunt annoying land and sea, both north and south, and also west and est, annoyeth neither sea, any land, ni tree? For 95 softly, the commander of that was he, that fro the tempest I this woman kept as wel that, she wook as one she slept. For 97, I insert that, hl a walk. 400, where might this woman meat and drink have? 3 year and more how lasteth here vitail? 500 who fed the Egyptian Marie in the cave, or in desert? No wight but Christ, sans file. 5,000 folk it was as Gret Mervale with loves 5 and fishes 2 to feed. God sente his foison at here Gret in need. 145, T 4925 to 4959. 505 she driveth forth into our Oxyan thurg out our wild sea, till, at last, under and hold that Nempnani and Ican, 410, fair in Northumberland the Wahir cast, and in the Sondhir ship stike so fast, 510 that thens wold they had not of alla tide, the will of Christ was that she should it abide. The constable of the Casteldown is fair to seen this rack, and all the ship he sought, and fond this wary woman full of care, 515 he fond also the tresser that she brought. In her language mercy she besought the life out of her body for to twin, for 20, here to deliver of what that she was in. A manner Latin corrupt was here spech, 520 but all gates thereby was she understand, the constable, one list no langer sesh, this woeful woman brought he to the land, she knelleth down, and thanked God sond. But what she was, she woldy no man saye, 525 for foul ni fair, fought that she should a die. She said, she was so mazed in the sea that she forgat her mind, by her troth, 430, the constable hath of her so great pity, and eke his wif, that they weepen for Ruth, 530 she was so diligent, withouten slouth, to serve and pleasant rich in that place, that I lay her lovin' that loken on her face. 531, Mrs. Please. 532, E.C.M. in, rest on. This constable and Dame Hermangild his wif were payans, and that country everywhere, 535 but Hermangild loved here right as here life, and Custance hath so lunch soyern there, in orisons, with many a bitter tear, for 40, till Yessa hath converted thurg his grace Dame Hermangild, constabless of that place. 536, Soyern, H.L. Herberwed. 146, T 4960 to 4994. 540 inches L that London no Christen durst rout, alle Christen folk ben fled fro that country third payans, that conquered and alabut the plages of the north, by land and sea, to Wallace fled the Christianity 545 of old Britons, dwelling in this eel, there was here refut for the meanwhile. But yet near Christen Britons so exiled, 450, that the near psalm that in here privity honored Christ, and heathen folk biggled, 550 in New York the castles which the dwelten 3. That Owen of Ham was blind, and might not see but it were with Thilkian of his mend, with which men seen, after that they been blind. 553, E1, rest after. Bright was the sun as in that summer's day, 555 for which the constable and his waf also in Custance Han Y take the right way toward the sea, a furlong way or two, for 60, to playin and to roamin to and fro, and in here walked this blind man they met a 560 croaked and old, with yen fast wishet. 561 old, old, rest blind, blynd. In name of Christ, cried this blind Britown, Dame Hermangild, give me my sight again. This lady wex afraid of the sown, lest that here housebond, shortly for to sayin, 565 wolde here for Jesu Christ's love han slain, till Custance made her bold, and bad here works the will of Christ, as daughter of his church. For 70, the constable wex abashed of that sight, and said, what amounteth all this fare? 570 Custance answered, Sire, it is Christ's might, that helpeth folk out of the fiend's snare. And so furforth she gone our lay declare, that she the constable, but that it were Eve, converted, and on Christ made him believe. 574, HLCM connuerted, rest connuerteth. Mocketh, lane mad, rest made. 147, T 4995 to 5029. 575 This constable was nothing lord of this place of which I speak, though he Custance fond, but kept it strongly, many wintrace space, for 80, under Allah, king of all Northumberland, that was full wis, and worthy of his han 580 again the Scots, as men may wel here, but turn I will again to my mateer. Sadhan, that ever us waiteth to beguile, saw of Custance here perfection, and castin on how he might quite here well, 585 and made a young knight, that dwelt in that tune love here so oat, of foul affection, that verily him thought he shoulde spill, for 90, but he of here might once have his will. He woweth here, but it availeth not, 590 she wolde do no sin, by no way, and, for despite, he compassed in his thight to make in here on shameful death to die. He waiteth one the constable was away, and privily, up on a night, he crept 595 inches Hermangild's chamber whyl she slept. Wary, for waked in her orizons, sleepeth Custance, and Hermangild also. 500, this night, thirg Sathana's temptations, al softily is to the bed why go, 600 and kit the throat of Hermangild a2, and laid the bloody knyf by Dame Custance, and went his way, their God yev him mestiance. 598, ehn Sathans, hl Satanas, but Sathanas in cpptln.